want to make sure my previews is not muted correctly. I think they fixed that finally. Like Twitch used to have it where like you're just if you threw up your mod web page on the side, like it would just randomly be unmuted. I don't know. I think they fixed
I've
that.
never pulled that out.
I didn't even know it existed, and then a friend of mine who was a pretty decently popular affiliate until he got he caught like a ban for I don't even know like I think he got either mass bot reported or there was like one song in his playlist that was copyrighted music, and he just got like no strikes. They just banned
Just
him.
gone.
Yeah, he just banned him. He tried to appeal. Obviously, it's all automated now. Twitch is garbage, right?
Yeah.
And then he tried again. I think a couple months ago because it was 6 months, and then like because they're like you have to serve at least 6 months, and then you can. And I don't think he's got a response. It's really sucky, but it's one of the many reasons why I won't even. I got an email to become an affiliate in like September of 2022 or October of 2022. I think I got rated by Free Enterprise, Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. It was like 100
nice.
people. I was like, oh my god, what is going on? Because I was just playing like random. I was just playing like a random, run, and I guess they ended like a race or something, and they were like, they just randomly picked somebody playing Final Fantasy IV, and boom, and that was all I needed. But I just thought about it. I'm like, I don't want to fill out a tax return for this. If I do affiliate, even back then, you were like, okay, well, I can't ever play copyrighted music again because I could just get banned. Is whereas if you're not an affiliate, you're making zero money, they just mute you. So it's like whatever, who cares?
Yeah, I've run into that too because I hit affiliate a while ago for Tetris. I got like 140 person raid from Classic Tetris League when they were doing one of their major ones.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah.
That tipped me over. I have gotten a couple of payouts, but over like 3 years, it's only been like $90, if that.
Yeah, it's rough because like
It's
I just don't
no,
think it's worth a
it's
tax return. You know what I mean? But I mean, I
yeah,
no judgment on anybody that does. It's like get the bag if you can. All right.
yeah. It's
What
worth
am
a
I?
tax return if you're making a good chunk off of it, but
Yeah, if you're making like
I
enough money to buy a like something nice or take a vacation, sure.
all right,
uh, what am I
time
doing?
to max it out.
Oh yeah, I should just do that. I should do a max.
Chaos, yeah, chaos total random. Yeah, that's kind of the one things we'd have to point. Same type shuffle. The only things different are unchanged on saving warp rooms and retain type on items.
Yeah,
That
it's only
changes
those are the
everything
only two
so
things.
much.
I have a little intro script I wrote here. Um, I think it'd only take me about a minute to read it. So my plan was to read this. I think I just added a line at the end where I introduce you,
All right.
and then we do like the countdown from there, kind of thing. So you want me to just read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Tony, and this is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a Metroidvania, more specifically an Igavania. What we call Metroidvanias made by Igarashi-san, who has designed many of the Castlevanias that have RPG elements. It's one of the few games with a randomizer mode included in the base game. However, this was a backup plan after they were not able to deliver the intended roguelike mode. Therefore, we are missing some things like true logic, but there are some safeties included. I'll be running a seed that has been vetted by the racing community, which is something we do for any competitive match to ensure it is completable. We have two main categories for speedruns of the rando, and today we'll be playing whatever. Quickly before we begin, I just want to touch on the difference. The type flag uh, is the main difference in our main two categories, which will give us the option to make everything retain its type or to be shuffled completely. When something retains its type, for obtaining it, some other items and abilities will only be shuffled with themselves. For example, purple magic shards will only be shuffled with other purple shards. A chest that normally contains a weapon will only be shuffled with other weapon chests, and so on. For chaos, this limit is removed. We'll talk a lot about more. We'll talk about a lot more as we play through the game. But for now, let's get started. As you can see, there's a built-in timer. Oh, this is designed because we won't actually have this screen. We'll be like here. As you can see, there's a built-in timer in the bottom corner, but this will not track things like save splits, lag, and a few other minor things, and it won't start until we actually input here. So we can count down and go when ready, but joining me on commentary is my friend Yeehaw, who actually played in the first ever live rando race of our game last year, and you may recognize his voice if you are a Tetris fan.
Thanks for the introduction, Tony. Thanks for having me, everybody, and hopefully we can put on a good show for you here.
Yeah, so when this is live, it'll be vetted, and I can make a remark about, hey, if it's bad, it's on me because somebody's already played played through it. So, all right, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and count it down. 3, 2, 1, go.
One, go.
All
All
right.
right, we get
Hey,
started off with
green
a
chest.
weapon right away, right in the green chest. Usually, a lot of times in Max, you don't run into that, and Red Umbrella is a decent weapon to start with.
Yeah, DLC saves us a little bit because you get the short blade.
That is true. The 1.5 DLC with the Shantae equipment actually did make Max significantly easier to handle because there were points where you literally would not get a weapon until 20 minutes after the boat.
Yeah, and if you have to fight the boss, doing 1 or 2 damage a hit. Miriam is not Alucard. Alucard in Symphony of the Night, his fists do decent damage, but Miriam without a weapon, not a whole lot of damage, especially level 1. Yeah.
So there are, well, as Tony mentioned in the introduction, there are a lot of RPG elements to it, to this game. You will have points where you see levels up. There are specific stats for strength, intelligence, mind, which is kind of like magic defense, constitution defense. There's a luck stat that we believe works. We're not 100% sure. It does seem to be that it works.
We did get a good set of data from some people that investigated it last year, and it does work. Oh wow, okay.
Oh, we're owing because Zangetsuto is one of the two things you actually need to finish this game. It's a key. You need a key item. Zangetsuto. Oh, it's a weapon, obviously. And one specific purple shark card, Dimension Shift. We were not expecting to run into it quite this quick.
Yeah, especially not on a max, because it could literally be anywhere in the entire game where an item is present. So breakable walls, chests, just loose items laying on the ground, everywhere but a shop. But yeah, the luck stat, to finish what we were saying there before the game. Oh well, the wrong GGs, but we did have somebody that really wanted to dive into it. I have to go back and find their information. I believe they posted it in Jupiter's Discord, probably, if we scroll up on that. But they did a bunch of data sims, and luck does work. It just doesn't work as effectively as you would hope it would work. So,
much like real life.
Right, exactly. So if you find an item that has a lot of luck, it's worth to stop and equip it. But if you find an item that has like 1 or 2 luck, it's probably not worth it in a speed run. Especially in yeah, like I say,
luckily a lot of the really good luck items are also just really good items in general.
Yeah, it does affect your ability to, like, it doesn't just affect drops, it helps you crit more, so you know, you can get a DPS boost from it.
Well, even the Valkyrie equipment has a high luck stat to it on top of being excellent armor.
Yeah, the Valkyrie Tiara and Valkyrie armor are probably the best of those two things you can find in the normal chest item pool. So maybe one thing we might want to cover is, for whatever reason, probably just a technical limitation or code limitation, they can't shuffle in anything that's only craftable into like the regular item pool of all the stuff that's available in chests. So there's a lot of weapons in the game that you have to craft. You wouldn't be able to find them in chests. So when it comes to armor, the Valkyrie armor is really high defense, some of the highest in the game. It also just happens to have really high luck as well.
Is excellent. Now, there is an item in the game, and Tony briefly mentioned this when he said wrong GGs. That item's called Jeebel's Glasses.
Yeah.
If we run into that, it is infinite MP.
Right. You just have to have... Yeah.
You just have to have the maximum amount of, or the amount of MP available in the purple bar in the upper left-hand corner, and you just keep casting.
Yeah, definitely the best item in the game. It's not hard required to win, but it basically makes any doubts of boss struggling and all that just eliminated. Even the worst shard in the game, when you have infinite mana and can spam it, is pretty decent. Oh, that's some decent luck.
Yeah, so far it's been some pretty decent luck on things dropping. Thrashing Tentacle isn't the best red in the world, but it can be helpful. One thing you are going to notice is that Tony is not walking forward that much. It's because walking/running in this game is kind of slow. So we use backdash cancel, where there's a button on your controller or on your keyboard, whatever input method you might be using, depending on however you're playing the game. You press the backdash button, and then down on your control pad.
Yeah.
And it cancels out the backdash and allows you to restart the backdash because the speed of the backdash is front loaded to the start. So as you're maintaining that rhythmic tick 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 tick, you're maintaining a higher speed.
Yeah, it's very similar to the way Soten works. You just use a shield to cancel the before. So the recovery at the end is slow, but if you cancel before you hit those frames, you can then immediately input another backdash, and you just kind of chain them all together.
Shop is pretty big.
Yeah, any MP recovery in the shop is great. In case we don't find those glasses we were talking about. Way more likely to happen in Max than our standard category, just because of the way the shop gets shuffled. And Maximum, the shop gets shuffled in a much higher, like, I wouldn't say rate, but the amount of items that are same type. So like a potion will only get shuffled with other potions and stuff like that. That's auto equipped, yeah.
Now we've gotten our first yellow shard of the game, and those are passives. And Tony just happened to run into one of the really good ones, Augment Luck.
Oh, I killed only 4. That was funny. You get the yellow drop, and I forgot to kill the last one. So normally
the yellow drop was was so hype.
yeah. I mean, that is one of the best ones you can get. I mean, Augment is up there as well. Words of Wisdom until you find infinite mana if you find it. We often
we'll go over what they are.
Yeah, we often find it faster to skip these quests at the beginning. Normally, in the regular set of flags, you're going to see an accessory there every time. So if that's good, we'll go ahead and do it. But if it's not, we'll go ahead and skip it because the stuff in between is usually not worth going for. However, anything could be in the quest log there, so it often is worth it to just see what you're working with. Anything in the game that's good can be useful at this. Great, but also anything in the game can be broken down into something good. So that's why you didn't see me sell anything at the shop. I'm basically just holding everything until I have to spend money or sell it for money. Because if I can dismantle something into something that crafts those glasses we were talking about, or if I can dismantle something just directly into those glasses, that's huge. So,
and
different strategy completely in this set of flags than we would have in the normal shuffle.
Same type, our normal what we call same type shuffle. It is interesting to note, Jeebel's glasses can occur both in chests and in crafting. It's one of the few items it's one of those few items that really just can kind of pop up anywhere. And the crafting system in this game is actually fairly robust. There's even craftable shards.
Yeah, 7 of them, I think.
Yeah, excellent entrance. Got all the way up to the stairs there.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can do it. We can go back to the movement for a second too. Like, you don't have to be perfect when it comes to these dashes as well. Like, you have the whole. Like, I think it's like almost 3/4 of the dash or more to be able to press down, and then as long as you're quick at pressing, or even on the same frame, the backdash button again, you won't lose any speed. So you don't have to be incredibly, like, I can just show you here. You can get very quick reps in, but you can also get much longer reps like this, and still not lose.
Longer reps are significantly faster than walking.
Yeah, you still don't lose like any speed at all, really. Only if you accidentally hit down too early, or you don't hit dash quick enough, will you actually go into the crouch animation, and then you'll lose some speed. One of the quick thing we'll talk about too is if you're wondering why I'm killing everything, it kind of goes back into that same difference between the two categories. Every single enemy in the game except for 2 drops a shard, and with the shards not being limited to their own family. Any enemy in the game could drop that shard that we need to actually get to the final boss. So I'm just killing all this stuff on my way, just hoping to get lucky. And then what we usually do for the fastest strategies is we'll come back with a bunch of extra gear, with better luck stat, and then we'll like turbo farm stuff to clean up all the shard drops.
And even in same top shuffle, there are points where you can farm the same enemy 5 or 6 times a second. There's a couple of points where you can just flip between rooms and fire off. There's a couple of beam weapon shards, not so much beam weapons as they are spells. Like actually right above this room, there's one where that pig that popped. If you have a good shard, you can pop into the room, fire off, let it explode, and then flip out and come back in, and it's right there. Like even the death animation is still going.
Yeah, and you can tell that an enemy will drop a shard because you get a sound effect and you get an animation immediately on their death. So and even if you accidentally go off screen before you actually collect the shard, you can go into the bestiary basically and see what it was. So if there's something that you don't need, you can just move on, even if you make a mistake, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you'll see a lot more interesting strats in this run just because we have so many more enemies to farm. It's a much higher knowledge check. You know, like when you play same type, you only have, I think it's 34 purples to farm. So you only have to remember where those enemies are if you want to just beat the game. And you know, there's some of them exist in multiple locations, so you can kind of like make a strategy in your mind. You can make a route, like, okay, I'll save this until I get to, you know, this part of the castle and so on. But here, I'm gonna be definitely checking that bestiary because there's just too much, especially while talking while playing, to remember, like, you know, what I've gotten already and so on. Like, I know what I have, but I couldn't tell you what dropped what. I could probably guess like 50% of it.
And it's also true that there's just so much to do that without some sort of tracking method, which luckily you do get in game, you're just never going to be able to keep it up.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's a vanilla.
Yeah, having a teleport room here is great.
Having a teleport room up here that we're about to check
would be
not
bad.
so much.
Yeah. You don't want 2 teleports in the same place, because that just wastes one of your teleports that gets shuffled around. There are, there's 2 locations where the teleport is always a teleport. In Errantville, which I panicked. I'm like, I got that right, yeah. The beginning, and then there's a one spot underground where, in between the lava area and the desert area, that is always a teleport room. There's a couple. Yeah, I've been practicing. It's much easier with a weapon that does a lot of damage, and thankfully the Zangatsuto, I think, is the second highest attack weapon you can get out of a chest. So,
which is true.
Oh, hello.
Well, big boost here. This one increases the speed of backdash by a lot.
Yeah, you could just see it. Yeah.
It's one of the better movement options we have in the game.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd fastest all by itself. If you have double jump and the Strider belt, and you're really good at double jump canceling, you can technically go a little bit faster, but you have to be a machine. This is a lot easier because this is the basic type of movement you're already going to do through most games. And then Accelerator, I think, is the only thing faster than that. So
there are other methods of movement that are pretty fast. If you don't run a moon belt, it's not like you're out of options.
Yeah, if you have infinite MP, there's a bunch more, but you know, assuming you don't have it.
It is just so strange that, and this doesn't make much sense. As you get stronger, weapons become more about your movement than they do your attack.
Yeah, enemies scale up really hard in this game from area to area, and how much damage they do and how much health they have. So not getting hit is very important, especially, you know, I'm sure anybody who's played a randomizer and anything can tell you have to fight stuff a lot earlier than you normally would playing through the game normally, and that's no exception here. We're much lower level than you would be on a casual playthrough in any speed run, and then on top of that randomizer, we might be a couple levels higher because we're just going to kill more enemies than you normally would. But not much.
It tends to be a little harder in same type shuffle just because we're so much more focused. Because in max you get to explore a little bit and level up as you're killing enemies.
Yeah, you see way more drops. You get way more chances to use the crafting system. You can just luck your way out of a no damage situation a lot more often in max. The price you pay is usually you gotta see more of the castle, and you gotta do a lot more regular combat. Okay, so pretty soon we're gonna be stuck without a movement. Okay, that's also a pretty good teleport room. That's a vanilla teleport room. That'll let us get back to the upper left side of the castle if that becomes relevant with relative ease. It also will let us get back up here after we farm, which we might have to do for vertical movement, because we're stuck now without any way to either swim or move vertically without, you know, finding a shard that lets us do it.
The boss that's available now, coming up here, firearm expertise is not great. The boss is coming up here in the main game would give us one of those options for moving forward, but in max chaos, it could give us the worst yellow. It could give us deep
or green, you know,
or it could give us it could give us a familiar. We just don't know.
Yeah. So now while he spins around to not win, we can talk about the differences of shards, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about this after. But there's red and purple. They basically do the same thing. Red is just push a button, you use it. Purple, you can aim in 360 degrees. That's what Miriam's arm's doing right here. You know, and they pretty much have the same application. It's the only other sword that's higher attack that you can find in chests, so I'm going to put it on. Then we've got blue, which break the game in whatever way they possibly... They're all like unique, weird shards. Like the one that would drop off this guy is a big hand that lets you move objects. There's accelerator, which we already mentioned, which is like... ooh, okay. Outcast early is amazingly good. So that's what we use to break items.
Break others down.
Yeah.
So that's what the ghost drop has dropped off of or moved to. The ghosts we ran into earlier in the castle, those are the first initial primary source of Alcahest. If you got it in chop, it's 800 gold, but you kind of want your money for other things a lot of the time.
Yeah, and you don't want to sell stuff early because then you're selling what you could break. Okay, so now we're gonna check the list. Okay, Demon Ordog, Nibon. Yeah, I may as well stay here. We don't need to check the... I'm not gonna check the bottom stuff right away. I'm gonna go back into this other room here. We're just gonna try to farm out some of these guys. But yeah, anyway, finishing talking about the shards. So we've got blues, which just basically fundamentally alter the game in some way. You can stop time with one of them. One of them turns you into the Flash. One of them summons Shadow Clone Jutsu from Naruto. You know, one of them puts up a wolf that blocks like all damage. You know, and so on. There's only 9 of them, but they're really unique. So, and they're all game breaking in some ways. Some of them are game breaking in a pretty useless way. Like healing doesn't really work all that well, but
it's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate because that healing doesn't work all that well. It just takes a lot to get it to a good point. And by that point,
it's like any RPG, right? You know, some stuff is not balanced, and if they took another balance pass at it, they would buff it, right? It's like one of those. Then we have yellows, which we already covered. They're just passive bonuses. And then we have greens, which are little familiar pets that'll follow you around. There's only 6 of them, but some of them can be pretty handy. Like there's one guy that can like literally block damage for you, one that'll buff your strength, and so on. And then finally we've got white shards, which are like our movement abilities, and shortcut, which is like a quality of life thing, I guess you could say.
And back on the familiars, only one of the non DLC familiars is actually bad.
Yeah, and only because it gets in your way.
Yeah, it just gets completely in your way, and sometimes that's useful. It will occasionally tank hits for you.
Yeah, you can jump off of it.
Tank your hits.
Yeah, like it's this guy right here. It's the boor, the little circle guy. So sometimes you can jump off of it and actually use him to get up on the some stages. It's just a really niche use case. Doesn't come up very often, and it's much harder to do without double jump, which we have no guarantee of finding. Oh, okay. Well,
okay. Dimension shift early.
Sure. All right, now I'm gonna go back and check the. Now we're on a hunt for damage and glasses, which if I find glasses, it solves both issues. Yeah, so.
Yeah, you have Bolide Blast. That's perfectly functional for.
Yeah, we've got the stuff we need to win. We just need, you know, either a bunch of money to buy a bunch of MP regen items, or we need the glasses. So.
I mean, it is worth noting that Miriam, the player character, does have a natural MP regeneration rate, and that rate can be improved over the course of the game with specific foods and a couple of items.
Yeah, each time we eat a food for the first time, we get a base stat bonus, depending on what food it is. And the stats will show up in blue, so if I go to eat some food, you'll see it when it comes up. I'll definitely be eating some food at some point.
You did buy that that drink earlier, right?
No, I did not.
You didn't buy that yet. Well, I mean, that might be the perfect might be the perfect time to do that since you're looking for more MP.
Yeah, we're gonna buy some food here for sure. I went to the wrong side first. So basically, what you want to do almost every time is check with Johannes over here to see what you can make. Okay, interesting.
I would, as much as that EX ether would be nice, I would not craft it.
Yeah, so the craftable shards here, you want to check this first, because this will tell you what shards are okay to sell. So, like, if the ingredient shard is something good, you know, you never want to sell it no matter what. But if it's something bad, you can sell it if the thing it crafts is useless to you. So neither one of these are really that big of a deal. So if I had a spear expertise or whatever, I would sell it. But yeah, I'm just wanted to check that first, because now we're just gonna dump. It was yeah, that's crafting, not
in crafting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crawler we can use to get through stuff. I'm gonna keep that.
Vashi is a pretty good venomous is incredibly useful.
I'm gonna keep resist light too for Dominique, because we might be going there a little bit earlier than we would like to. And if MP is an issue, the main way to evade it, being Dimension Shift, we might not want to spend the MP. I might be able to take a hit or two.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. Alright, yeah, I definitely gotta buy some healing now. Okay. So everything's open except for stuff that's underwater. Let me buy the juice.
Extra as well. Not anymore. Getting one of each of the food is a better call right now.
Yeah, and we're doing this for stats mostly, especially because now we have go mode so early. You know, we definitely still want some other things. Like I can get up to where we have to go, but I have to waste a bunch of MP to do it. It's still probably the best route, so I'm gonna go for it. And we're gonna defeat our mid boss. If you're familiar with Soten, it kind of functions the exact same way. There's a Richter type boss that we have to beat by meeting a special condition, and then that opens the final area where the final boss is actually hiding. So we're going to do all that first, but we might still explore some of the other bits of the castle, because we going to Dominique and Bale and beating them with just a melee weapon and like a minor set of healing is something that some of our best players are absolutely 100% capable of, but that's not us. So
if you have Game Boy Advance,
yeah,
Game Boy Advance level combat, it's doable. For mere mortals, ooh.
Yeah. So the other, yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So the other, okay, blue chest, I'm gonna skip that. The other Vanias that came after Soten, that were all designed by Igarashi, are almost all on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, and they have the Soul System, which is what these shards are, basically. Hey, there's the other Alcahesta. That's the double. All right.
On glasses.
Yeah. The other, yeah, we have two of the three glasses, and we don't have the one we want. But yeah, so those Vanias have a much different approach to melee combat, whereas like in Soten you can just find a good melee weapon, jump cancel / you win. It's a little bit more complicated in every game that came after that, and this one. You have a lot more delay and recovery depending on if you swing your sword or whatever weapon on the ground, and so on. But there's a way, since
if we were using a great sword, the delay on that attack is massive.
Yeah, it'd be way longer than this one. Sword's pretty quick. But what you can do, similar to the backdash for the movement, is you can cancel a lot of the animations. So you can get melee swings in while doing a bunch of movement canceling, and you end up getting like maybe 1.5 to 1.75, maybe even almost double the melee you would get by just doing the regular jump canceling that you'll see me do. So I can't show you how to do it, but if you tune into the bonus stream next week, we're actually going to have a remote run of this. And I'll be commentating it, and one of our best players, Axel Ryman, will be playing that. And that's already set up for a max cast, so you don't even have to donate to see the longer, more fun seed. And you'll definitely see him meleeing in a much better, like rate, getting way more out of melee than you'll see me doing. Luckily for us, though, there's enough gambling and route diversion that you can do in a lot of games of this that you can still beat some of the best players. We've won some races or finished second, that we probably have had no business being involved in just because we picked the right way to go first. Or we got really good drop luck on like a shard or something. I'm actually just going to skip B since I'm so low on MP. I don't want to blow my
you're gonna
juice.
You're gonna need the juice. Speaking of dimension shift movement, one of the things that we found as we've gone along, and the Speedborn group actually found this first, but even in randomizer it applies. Going directly up or directly down with dimension shift is just terrible.
It's almost not even possible.
It's almost not possible. You have to work at an angle, and just for sake of ease of movement, a lot of times of rapid dimension shifting, you're only going at 45 degrees.
Yeah, and it costs 15 MP each time, and if you're, you don't have infinite, I was just gambling there on finding a food item or something like that. I have some food I can eat, so I'm not really worried about my health. It's just the MP right now. But hopefully there's a save room in here, and a teleporter, and not two of each. We'll see where we're at.
Alright, one save. Now, what frame rate are you playing at right now? That actually matters in this game.
It absolutely does. Okay, good. Good luck. I am playing uncapped. So you have some options, right? So you can play 60 FPS on everything but Switch. And you can play, which will be kept at 30. And then you can play uncapped. It's a little convoluted in... Okay, this is a this trick's semi. Alright, I'll take first try. That's cool.
And that's a coyote, what we call coyote type trick. Effectively, it takes after Wile E. Coyote. He goes off a cliff, and he stands there, and he stays there for a second, and he can do stuff, and then he falls. Yeah. That exists in this game. We can do that. You may want to hit the save point before going.
Yeah, 100%. Man. In a marathon, we're going to take a lot of extra safety saves that we normally wouldn't.
Unlike most RPGs, poison in this game is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, super, super good. Most bosses are not even immune to it. So, like, 2 of them, I think, in the entire game. Out of, like...
One of them is one of the final bosses, and trust me, we need the poison to kill her sometimes.
Yeah, it helps a lot, yeah. Oh, and there you go. That's how Dimension Shift can fail for you, if you're not very precise. Alright. Probably I was going to say, it's going to be a regular potion watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a regular potion. It's going to be a regular missing string table entry.
Yeah.
So, what we were saying about the frame rate while Tony fights Jeeble here, he's going to need to change weapons soon. That's the gimmick. Switch is stuck at 30. The other two consoles run at 60, and obviously on PC we can uncap the frame rate. Certain things in the game work differently depending on what frame rate you're operating at. I noticed, the reason I brought it up was I noticed how quickly, and this doesn't show up on regular streams because of Twitch limits, at higher frame rates, when you're healing, your bars fill up faster.
Oh.
So,
Yep.
Oh, well, we have the safety save.
Yep. I should have just ate something. I also should have poisoned him at the beginning because I do have a poison shard, so...
Yeah. So, the in-game timer runs a little bit differently depending on how fast your frame rate is going. Movements become easier depending on how fast your frame rate is going. When you're playing uncapped, backdash canceling feels like a dream. If you're playing at 30 frames per second, it's a
awful.
nightmare.
Yeah. Or PS5 is like there's like a 1 second delay no matter what.
Yeah, and PS5 has some other really weird stuff going on. just the PlayStation versions in general have some weirdness going on that the Xbox doesn't have, and actually Switch doesn't have a couple of those issues.
Yeah.
Except so. But so the higher frame rates, movement's easier. But on the lower frame rates, a couple of the non-major glitches for some wacky reason are just really easy to work on. Usually the coyote time ones, for some reason, they're just way easier to hit. And there are a couple of weird coyote times. Okay, here's the gimmick we mentioned earlier. You see how the moon turned red? We're cutting it in half. Jeebel's being controlled by that demon that came out of the moon right there. Zangetsuto means moon sunderer in Japanese.
Yeah, now you know why this is the spiritual successor to. So it basically follows the exact same principle. Like Death is controlling Richter. You hit his orb, and you free Richter of his control, and then you go on to fight the real boss.
Yeah, this game really is an amalgamation of all of the YeehawMcKs.
Yeah, it's all the greatest hits rolled into one game. It's got the GBA Vania combat, the soul system. It's got a lot of the Soten, movement that carried over into those games. It's got the equipment and all the RPG elements. Okay, so I'm skipping by a lot of stuff we normally would be checking, just because we already have go modes. But I'm gonna check the stuff that's like on the way to where I'm going, because Jeebel's glasses could be anywhere on the field. So
you're going, and I'm presuming you're going to be heading to our librarian.
Yeah, we're gonna go see the library. We're gonna borrow some books because big damage increase and a good luck increase from this guy. And my style, I like going for the luck because you farm 90 of something once and you just don't want that to ever happen again. So if luck can mitigate that, we're gonna go for it.
That is the thing that happens. That has happened to all of us. It is terrible.
Oh yeah, you want to mention? Yeah, talk about the drop rates real quick while I'm doing this.
Oh, so drop rates in a lot of instances are 4% or less for shards. There are ways of increasing it slightly. And there's actually a accessory that you can craft. It's a very late game accessory that claims to increase the rate. Luck also has an effect. 4% is the high watermark, except for a couple of places. But there's a lot of shards that only drop at about 0.2%, and sometimes they're on some of the most annoying enemies, like toads.
Oh, this is not a save.
Toads are just awful.
Toad says 3% in the stat screen, but it's definitely lower.
Yeah, it is not 3%. Oh,
I just got my jump just got eaten there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I was gonna check that stuff up to the right, but whatever.
And that's another thing that happens sometimes. Is sometimes inputs just disappear. There we go. Tony ate that bit of food, and max MP went up by 30, and Constitution went up by
20. HP. That one was an HP one.
Oh no, it looked like there was a second input. Maybe. Oh yeah. Oh, int went up by 2. Okay.
Yeah, that one is int and.
That's the one you really want.
Int, MP recovery, yeah, anything with that would be great. I mean, all the stats are fine, but if you have to choose, because melee weapons have a ceiling, and magic damage really doesn't, especially once you get infinite MP. Oh yeah, you have weapon techniques like in Soten as well.
Yeah, there are weapon techniques like in Symphony and a couple other Metroidvanias. Valkyrie Sword has one of them.
Yeah, usually it's a quarter circle forward to do it.
Yeah, so quarter circle forward. Sometimes there's just like as we're talking about fighting games, just the fireball motion. Sometimes you get the back forward back motion. There is kind of a weird. The weirdest motion is something with I forget which of the pole arms, but it's like up down left right or left right up down somewhere or something along those lines, and it just.
Yeah, it's effectively a 360.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
spinning pile driver, basically.
Yeah, kind of a 360, and it causes your character to just stand there and spin their weapon around, like a doofus. Sometimes it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Sometimes the abilities are kind of nice. Other times they're terrible, and there's a couple that are really just excellent in general. My favorite is one of the weapons or one of the abilities that you get from two specific greatswords. The one you tend to run into in game more often than not is called Graham. Um, that one is called Crescent Moon. It's just a fireball into attack, and if you let go of the button, she'll just do like an uppercut swing. But if you hold on to it, she runs forward. That ends up, if you have the infinite MP, it ends up being one of the faster ways to move around in the game. And if you combine it with one of the blocking loop, you're almost invulnerable as you're running around. Nor near as easy as accelerating.
Yeah, and that one's in a chest, so you do run into it, like you said, a lot more often. Than the spears and the other stuff with movement.
This boss can be a little bit annoying. It likes to take to the air and stand there for a while.
Yeah, poison coming in clutch.
Poison coming in clutch, and unfortunately, this thing won't die at all until it hits the ground.
Ooh, purple. Oh.
True arrow's not terrible.
Not bad. We take that. I take those because that boss is a guaranteed drop. So, you know.
That enemy right there is the only one in the game that will actually buff your character. If you stand around for a while, it will cast a spell to increase your attack. It effectively does nothing because it doesn't last very long, but she will not attack you.
All right.
What are you thinking? Work your way up tower?
I'm thinking probably, since we have Alcahest, to just pray for a glasses. I wanted to check that room, see if it was a teleporter. But yeah, I'm thinking like glasses is the way, and to find damage and just pick up as many items as I can, but not go too far out of my way. There's a bunch of items we can pick up right here. And then pray for dismantle or crafting of glasses. So I'm just going to go...
Basil Art is actually one of those weapons that has a special technique. It's called Surprise Gift.
Surprise!
Yeah, you basically just throw the knife at them. It's kind of funny. Oh, you had the pass plate, or whatever the first form of the pass plate is.
Yeah, I have found Bromide, so that's a progression item. It's a key item. I did not actually talk to OD a second time because I've got a teleport right there. So,
and
it's a whole section of the game. It's called it's the train area into a lab. Yeah, there's 3 different labs or 3 different areas. I don't want to go there right now because I just don't have like the stuff to go through it quickly, and it's a dead end. So I'm basically just running around the castle looking for quick item pickups. I want to check a couple different rooms that could be saves or teleports. And it's because I want to just pick up as many items as I can. Like I said, I'm pretty much priced in on gambling of finding... I'll take that. Money's actually good because we can't sell a whole lot while we're doing this strategy. But yeah, the way I'm thinking in my head, the best way to go about this is just hit as many... item locations as I can to pick up as many chances as I can to be able to dismantle something into glasses or craft it, or find recipes as well that might be, we might find a recipe that crafts something that then breaks into it or whatever, or craft something that we need to craft it.
If I'm remembering correctly, you did pick up the drink recipe as you were going along. I don't know if it was before or after the save split, but it might be worth it.
Yeah.
If you did get that, there's a great possibility that you can just, and you happen to run into it, you should be able to get some more MP regeneration that way. And just what we were talking about with with Dimension Shift being a little bit funky.
Yep. And I want to hit all the warp rooms and save rooms I can, because if I have a bunch of warp rooms, that makes backtracking to areas... Yeah, so this isn't a warp room. A lot easier. There's an easy way to check this chest right here by taking a peek. We can't get to it with just shift from this side, but we can get to it from the other side. And I don't have waystones, which are what's called... which is the only way to transport back to the beginning. They work the exact same as a library card does in Symphony Night, if you're familiar with that.
You may want to double check your inventory. I thought you picked some up.
Oh yeah, I might have picked one up in like a brown or blue chest. It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to burn one here, but it's another thing that if you have it in the shop, it's amazing. You can just kind of like You can go down a bunch of dead ends all day long.
Yeah, being able to pick up a waystone literally at the beginning of the game changes your routing entirely.
Yeah, you can even pick one up on the boat and then use it to skip the boss. You know, similar to how if you randomize your soat and you spawn a library card, you can just boop right to the library. I'm gonna check this because we didn't check this before because we couldn't get to it.
Right, fish is good.
Yep. Healing item that gives you intelligence, I think.
Yeah, it gives you +1 intelligence, and it's a rather large heal.
Yeah, it's very good. And it's the most common food you're gonna find out of a blue chest that's actually good. I may as well do this now.
We're coming through. We might as well cut the moon again.
Yeah,
this opens up the path to the end game areas.
Yeah, if there was a save room anywhere close to inside, I'd check it, but there isn't, so we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, the layout inside of there is weird. That was the last time we're forced to use the Zangetsuto, so Tony will probably be sticking to the Valkyrie sword for the most part.
Yeah, unless we can find like a better sword that's crafted, which there aren't many. So, I'm kind of surprised at how well I'm remembering where to go to check all these chests that I had to skip. Yeah, that's cool. That opens up. Well, I mean, oh, okay,
Valkyrie dress.
Sure.
Even better.
Yeah, we should probably do a quick.
Yeah, probably time to rekit.
Yeah, cut purse. Yeah. I wouldn't have paused for just the 3 luck, but when I'm already equipping other stuff, why not?
Yeah, and just like with any other game, your menuing actually matters a lot. You know, just more time in menus is more time wasted.
Yeah, and we're gonna spend more time in max chaos in the menu than we would in STS, just because of the remembering what shards have dropped from whatever. So that's almost not even necessary once you understand the game and you get used to playing. You won't check your menu almost at all in terms of purple, because you'll only be farming purple shards in STS or whatever. But when you add 4 times the enemies or 5 times the enemies to it, it's ooh, we can let's do this.
Adding augment luck, never a bad idea.
Yeah, it's an item that we're probably not going to need, or we're going to get more of if we farm anyway.
Flashy is a good one.
So let's do the old fingers crossed dismantle check.
Oh, did I? Oh, Witch's Hat.
Yeah, Witch's Hat is the backup plan. 15, I don't like that. Double Gambler Ice Ring, it would be great if we found Aqua Stream. And then the food only dismantles into its own ingredients. What was this again? 10.
Did you notice missing stream table entry?
Yep.
So in version 1.5, there was a glitch that the patch introduced where you'll be trying to craft a potion, and instead of it displaying potion, it displays the mega potion. Oh, wow.
If we find a Dawnblade and Rigadurian, I mean, that's unlikely, but...
Curse ring.
If I could dismantle into a circlet and craft this ring, I could spike a GG craft potentially. Circlet must be the 8-bit coin of the sea.
Yeah, it was on Spike Breastplate was the one that had the missing string table entry. But yeah, it just replaced, for some reason, it just replaced all of the potions with missing string table entry. And when they went through on 1.6, they were kind of thinking they wanted to fix it, and a bunch of us said, no, don't fix that. That's hilarious. Please, it's so funny.
Yeah. we were happy to just get the patch to get the soft locks out, so it was
Yeah, because the patch introduced a bunch of really terrible soft locks. Like, what Tony is doing right now with selling things could just lock the game for no reason.
Yeah, if you went too fast, it could just hard lock you in a menu, which is not great, especially if you're just playing through the game casually. You bought it for the first time.
And I mean, during our tournament, I lost 8 minutes to a soft lock. 8 full minutes. And that soft lock still exists in the game. They didn't get rid of it.
Oh yeah, there's a couple soft locks that exist actually. Yeah, that are just waiting for you.
Generally, they're in general the soft locks you can run into are you're just trying to mash out of a text thing too fast, and it locks you. I believe the standstill
That is in.
shard get lock.
Yep.
Is in still.
That is still in for sure.
Yeah.
I've done it to myself multiple times.
Yeah, I lost a race to that one. That was all my fault.
I forgot it existed, then I did it to myself, and then I did it to myself again, like literally 2 seeds later.
Yeah, there are plenty of ways for you to just ruin yourself in this game, unfortunately. It's been so long since I've seen Moon Boots, or Moon Belt. I forgot how fast it was.
Yeah, me too. I very rarely find the accessories. I've been finding Accelerator more than the accessories lately in my MC practices.
Between the one seed that I run constantly and the other STS seeds, I have not seen Moonbelt late.
Yeah, and they're both items that pop up in chests, so you should see them pretty often in Max Chaos for sure, since you're checking so many more chests. But a lot of times in STS, we only check accessory chests because we're looking for glasses. And they're both accessories, but you just, you know, once you find glasses, you stop checking those things. So if you find glasses anywhere early or mid, you usually end up not seeing, you know, your movement accessories.
You gotta love that quick poison hit.
Yeah, Mist is definitely the worst of the 2 shards, in my opinion. Just because, you know, the damage, it does more damage base when it hits, but it's negligible. The real damage comes from the poison. Acid Jet, you just spray a bunch of acid. You hit him for sure. Funny enough, the Venom Mist sells for more, even though it's technically worse.
Well, against certain fast-moving enemies, you can use it as a trap, too.
Yeah, you can, like, it's a slow projectile, like in a fighting game. You throw it, you switch to something else, they're going to hit it no matter what, and then you can get maybe a melee swing on them while they're getting also hit by your poison. So there's tech. It just,
Speaking of tech, there's a little bit of tech that Tony's using right now. You notice he's sliding off of the little ledges right there. That causes him to get into the fall state faster, and that actually ties back into that little bit I was talking about earlier with the coyote time. It actually cancels out the coyote time and lets you just drop immediately.
Yeah, and it gives you a window to also jump. So if you probably see me slide off a ledge and then jump, and I you know, get a little bit more horizontal movement before I actually get the jump off, and that sometimes that's the only way you can get across certain gaps without you know, movement abilities.
Yeah, the earliest one in normal progression I can think of that covers that is over in Towers.
Yeah, anything else you'd be sequence breaking, I think. If we use it just for some speed. You see me do it on the boat, just for some speed optimization stuff. Like, you know, we're talking about frames here, but you know, if you can do it, you may as well. It's not too difficult to do, especially on either uncapped or on really low. For some reason, I think it's hardest on 60.
Actually, no. There is an instance where sliding off will actually let you get that coyote time in to stretch a little bit right on the boat. The first stack of instead of going left to check chests, if you go right to that 3 stack of the cannon mortars, if you slide off of that, you can jump.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just didn't do that because
you went to check the chest.
Check the chest, yeah, because we're playing MC. Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest one. It's you can just climb up the side, but you can also just slide off the top and then make that jump with the only with the slide jump.
And that's an STS versus a Max Chaos thing. In STS, we don't really go that way.
Yeah, because that early, unless you've already opened glasses and Zangetsuto before you get to it, you know,
which has happened.
It's happened, yeah, but you definitely want to check that. You want to check all chests until you find Zangetsuto for sure, and then it's arguable that until you find glasses, you want to check every other chest that's, you know, not like completely out of your way. If it's green or if it's just an item laying on the ground. Like, I'm not going to check that blue, whatever, but if I see a green on my path, I'm definitely checking it.
Yeah, blues are just kind of like the general loose treasure. They vary different based on what area you're in, and that actually gets randomized across different rooms. Like Alexandrite, that's actually
High level
kind of the
crafting,
right
yeah.
drop. It's high level drop, and this is a high level area, so that kind of belongs where it is. It kind of belongs there.
Yeah,
But
blue.
sometimes,
You can actually have items show up in blue chests that weren't normally in them, but you have to find them in other chests first, like browns, which are always like an item. It's still really rare for that to happen, though.
and then there's the everyone's favorite, what was it, the garlic flower.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
one other thing that it's something I don't know if it shows up in Max, but sometimes it shows up in the same type of shuffle. We don't know where it came from. We haven't been able to. Nobody's really looked into it. Sometimes it just eats one of the key items, and one of the key items it can eat can be Zangetsuto.
Yeah. Or like the bromide that locks you out of that area or whatever. So there's two garlic chests. There's the garlic flower and X. That's actually technically supposed to be, it occupies a key item slot. So it can like random into a key item space. It shouldn't overwrite another key item though. The solo garlic can overwrite any chest in the entire game. And unfortunately, the key item locations like Zangetsuto 2's drop, Shadow Dom.
Graphics glitch.
Yep. So like that is a, you know. So when Zangetsu in the normal game hands you his sword, normally in the after the boss fight, it counts it basically the same as a treasure chest. You know, bromides in a chest, you know, stuff like that. So, if that gets overridden by garlic, you might have a seed that's just unplayable.
So this is the end of the game. This is Dominique. If
Yeah.
you played through the normal game, she's supposedly a helper the entire time through, and then she does a heel turn on you. It's widely derided as being very telegraphed and kind of annoying among casual players. Would have been funnier if they had somebody else from the like if they had just like one of those other quest givers turn on you. That would have been really funny. But instead, it's Dominique with her motivations, quote unquote. She's probably the hardest fight in the game.
Yeah, I 100% have to agree with you. As annoying as Albert can be sometimes.
And that's why, right there. That elbow. People have mined that elbow. Oh, hey. Just Rosane. That elbow. She actually has two sets of attacks. She has a first half set and a second half set. The elbow and the whips are the ones that can carry across. The elbow is funny because she doesn't have to let it out anytime she wants to.
She can store it.
She has it ready.
Yeah.
She can store it and just nail you with it like she did with Tony right there. Now, if you have a counter attack, you can counter it. But sometimes you just don't know when it's coming. So it's it just ends up being just the worst thing ever. She has a bunch of screen filling attacks.
Yeah, I wasn't even taking this seriously, but I'm actually somehow kind of close to killing her, so we could actually just end the game here. I was planning on just giving this a shot and then.
Poison is actually one of the really just incredible stuff. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to take that hit.
Yep.
That attack is the stuff of nightmares sometimes. I've had more runs ended by tis than anything else.
Yeah, elbows and that for sure.
Like to the point where I will actively try to manipulate my damage to not get hit by that. Oh, you killed her as you got elbowed.
Okay, sure. Trade. Now I have no health though for this in melee basically.
Yeah, so this is the final boss. This is Bale.
Yeah.
He's effectively a big demonic washing machine.
Yeah, we're definitely not surviving this. What do I even do? Sure.
Collide? Maybe? So what's going to happen is as we're going around in the circle, Dominique's going to pop up on one of the heads. And the red demon head, we call it Landlord. Oh, yeah. Inferno Breath is right.
It's something.
We call him Landlord. He's like the second best one. Just because of the attacks that happen when everything goes through. In some situations, you want him. You can never have the same head. Dominique will never pop up in the same head twice. And which one is it? Is it Frog or Cat? That's just terrible. I think it's
Cat. Cat is the worst RNG. Yeah.
Cat is the worst RNG.
So you can't do same head twice in a row.
So you optimally want her to just pinball between Landlord and Frog.
Yeah, which is what we're probably going to need, because the cat puts a bunch of lava on the screen, and we have no way to, like, stay above it outside of the platform. The really, really garbage hitbox platform.
The platform has the worst sandbox I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. So we're probably going to die here, and then we're going to try to find some better attack stuff, and then come back.
Normally, by the time you get to this point in the game assumes you have double jump, invert, and probably high jump. And invert does all three of those do exactly what you think they're going to do. Double jump gives you a double jump. High jump lets you just shoot straight up, and then invert literally grabs the screen and rotates it 180 degrees. So,
yeah, the unfortunate thing is we did not get a teleport room.
Yeah, we didn't get a teleport room there. Are books on your plan to grab here?
Yep.
So, Tony picked up a book earlier from OD, from the librarian. We can get books in possibly one of the weirdest ways. You get more books by teleporting around the castle. Every 3 times you teleport, you can go to OD and check out one more book, up to 3 books.
Yeah, I think sometimes the third book.
Thing to do.
Yeah, sometimes the third book will just automatically pop up for you if you hit like an endgame area.
And then sometimes it just won't.
And yeah, and sometimes it won't pop up until you unlock an endgame area and then teleport around. It's something we still haven't like completely pieced together.
We don't have it completely nailed down, but it's very easy. You want the second book, just go to the teleporter, bounce around a few times, and go talk to OD. Oh, and you're going to get the access to the train.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a choice. You after you talk to him and get the first book, that always takes priority. Okay. Really, the good thing is with all we need is a decent shard. That's not a mana hog, and we can just go. Because we got mana regen in the shop, so. Yeah, if I could get invert, I could probably just go. So basically, we're just gonna kill stuff, looking for good shards. Any decent offense, we can go try to win again.
I have to admit, after running my plan seed, it's really weird seeing 688 HP.
Yeah, the last couple MCs I've done for practice, I've had over 1,000 because I've hit almost the entire castle. I have one that I didn't even finish, that I saved. That I think I've either got to farm 8-bit Overlord,
which is one of the worst farms.
Yeah. Stuff in Tiny Huge and Cool Mountain. Oh yeah, I call a lot of the areas by the Mario 64 equivalent.
and a bunch of us refer to them as more like Mario.
Yeah, I think I started it because it's so rare to see the fire area in STS. I think I started it on commentary. I couldn't remember what was the Volcano Cave or something like that. I couldn't remember what the name was, or Inferno Cave. I couldn't remember the name, so like when we had a race that went there, inevitably I just said Lethal Lava Land because it was just in my head, and then I just started doing it for other areas.
It stuck for everybody.
Yeah. Call Caverns Dire Docks. I call Ice Area Cool Mountain. Tiny Huge Island is.
Oh yeah, Tiny Huge Island.
For
Bobby took that one immediately.
Yeah.
We have little spiels and nicknames for everything in the community.
Yeah, it's like how in Super Metroid every room has a unique name because the community just decided we're just gonna give every room a unique name. Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of
one,
that.
one of Tony and my favorites, and actually Bobby's favorites too, is Ravishing Runus Rude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan, and yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, oh, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Rick Rude, you know, rest in peace, Hall of Famer. So,
Summon Chair. So Summon Chair is
busted in a weird way. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it is anything, but it destroys the geometry. Oh, that's a big pickup right there. It doesn't look those starter. It doesn't look like it. Those are starter weapons. But Kung Fu shoes.
Yeah.
Are traversal.
Yeah, aerial horizontal movement.
Yeah. You can also use a really annoying glitch with them to just go vertical for. I don't even know. I call it Eldritch.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a little hard to do on your hands, on your controller. PC Flip. I don't know how Jupiter does it on the Logitech F310, but he does.
Yeah, it's not something I'm capable of, but the good players can do it.
I pulled it off, and I just don't want to do it. It's such a weird vertical movement. It involves having a beam type weapon, canceling a kick into a backdash in midair, then firing a beam, and then kicking with a weird hitch in the time. It's so strange. And Miriam just flies upwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a craftwork puzzle. That blue shard we mentioned earlier that throws out a big hand. It doesn't really do anything for you. It's I don't even remember what the actual prize is.
It's not a green chest, so we never do it.
I think it's a blue chest, so we don't bother. And that was definitely.
I don't even actually know if it is a chest. It might be a stat. It might be a stat up. I don't know.
I legitimately don't remember what it is.
It's probably the thing I forget the most in Max, but let's just do this.
I was gonna say you might want a coyote time.
Yeah. Yep.
Luckily, it actually grabs you on that dimension. Yeah, that's a mimic. Mimics exist in this game. There's actually two types of mimics.
Yeah, there's Death Trap, and then there's the regular mimic there. I should switch back to this. Oh, 15 MP.
Gotta wait for the generation. Ooh. Might be time to put plate back on.
Yeah, it's okay. We just need.
Alright, working here.
Yeah. Hopefully we get the shard drop off of these guys. Our luck's kind of failing us a little bit here.
So we haven't seen a green shard yet.
Yeah, there's only 6 of them. I could. Nah. There we go. Okay. Well. Oh, come on.
I just missed. Might have to use a little bit of that food. You got all of it back anyway, so.
Yeah. Thankfully, since we died, all my food's just sitting here. And actually, we're gonna use that because it's gonna give us MP regen boost.
That effectively just doubled the MP regen rate.
Yeah. So now's the time, since we're committed now to finding some power. And it's like, where do we farm for shards? We don't know, because every shard could be everywhere. So, basically just finding the most diverse enemies in the most clustered area is where you want to go at this point. And,
unfortunately, we still don't have water access.
Yeah. We don't have any movement shard at all, other than the dimension shift, which is not traditionally a movement shard, because it's usually the last thing you find before, you know, even in vanilla game, but also in like you know, most randomizers.
You're not going to be able to go very far in this room. Dimension shift doesn't work in the 3D areas.
Yep, that's right.
So you're probably going to be stuck waystoning out.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's, maybe Wolfman can help us out.
There's a few more kills, so... We got the poison frogs still, too.
Oh yeah, there's poison frogs over here. How about we get poison frog kill, it spawns a Scythemite, and then we get the first Scythemite drop, and it has Void Ray. Let's go.
That would be perfect.
Let's go. Now. Yeah.
And this is the fun of the max chaos.
Yeah, it's actually worse to find Dimension Shift because it opens up all the stuff, but it also gives you too many options.
Vashia is definitely going to be really good against Bale. Even without any of this fun invert shenanigans. If you have a lot of MP regeneration, you could Bolite Blast Lock Dom.
Yep. Alright, let's take a look. Just doing some math of like what areas to go to. Ironically, we were kind of in one of the more dense areas. I guess we can just grab the third book and then stay in that area. We could also go into OSL for no reason.
Go into OSL to get kicked in the teeth.
Yeah.
OSL is one of the other late game areas, and there. It stands for Oriental Sorcery Lab. There are some just nasty, massively tanky, not even super boss enemies, just regular enemies in that section. We never really want to go in OSL if we can avoid it. It's just, oh, Tamako Death. Have you killed her yet?
I've killed a couple, yeah.
The only reason I remembered it was just the
I knew it was gonna get. I don't know why they made that so hard to break out of. In 1.6, it's like so much harder to break out of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you might want to get
I just want to put Aegis. Yeah. Probably getting the best of me.
Yeah, that one's. That room is just nasty. You're gonna have to fight it here. Yeah, that's Tamako Death, right? Sinister Rag. Okay. Well, at least you got all your HP back.
Oh wow, here's the other Alcahest. Oh wait, no, yeah. Wait a minute,
Iron leads to craftables.
That's interesting. What dropped the oak? Because usually oak only drops. At least the left. Oh, the chair. Oh, okay, the chair dropped.
Yeah,
the
chair dropped the oak.
So the chair is the. So we found all three Alcahest. Wait, no, that guy just dropped an oak.
Oh.
The last time I looked, the only thing that drops an oak is the other Alcahest mob. But I don't know. Maybe
it's really weird.
Maybe the wikis are wrong. We only have like 3 of them, I think. So.
Yeah, we only have 3 of them, and none of them are very consistent. Oh yeah, Lorage, our favorite. There's a double Alcahest, so you're gonna be able to break something down soon.
Yeah, we already had him.
So don't think you have Lorage yet.
No, I do, unfortunately.
Oh, you do? Okay, it was red. If that's a double Alcast, that means it's the Amy pool?
Yes. Double Alcahest Ectoplasm is Amy. Or wait. Single and Ectoplasm is Ghost.
Yeah.
What's the double?
I think it is Amy.
No, it's Amy. I'm just trying to think of the other item that drops with it. That's what I don't remember. just gonna do this.
Comedy bloodless option.
I'm gonna check the chest behind her. I don't know if I'm gonna fight her.
Yeah, I would.
She has a guaranteed shard, so...
Yeah, she does have a guaranteed shard. One of the few enemies in the game that actually has a guaranteed shard. She's just...
miserable.
It's just not a fun fight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's misery.
I do have poison.
Is she poisonable? I don't remember.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
The non-poisonables are Bale, Train, and...
Oh, Halite.
There's something else. Oh, Undead Guy. It's not poisonable.
Yeah. As we like to call him. Where did the blood go? She was supposed to be shooting blood out of her parasite.
I don't know, man. This game is
This game breaks itself so weird.
Yeah.
In so many weird ways.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We want another one, but they kind of, sort of, almost didn't finish this one.
We enjoy the brokenness.
Yeah.
Can she be Bulleye Blast looped?
Yeah. If I had the MP to do it. I mean, we might have to look into this. This might require some research because I just did that to her twice.
She should
Jump over and jump back over, and it just like cancels her.
That was weird. She did not regain much life off it either. Yeah, normally yeah, why is she not?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
There's supposed to be a big funnel of blood that she like puts
Yeah.
over her head,
And all the blood being splattered all over the place in the base game. Oh, Detective's eye isn't terrible. In the base game, you have to drain a pool of blood, so you need the shard that she normally drops, which is Bloodsteel. So as you're doing that fight, she starts spraying blood all over the place. In the middle of the fight, once you deplete her HP, she casts Bloodsteel, completely refills her HP, and I think she even goes over what the limit was. So you basically have to fight her twice.
yeah, and then she has extra
Really
moves,
annoying.
extra moves, and more umbrellas in the second phase. She's definitely the skill check where your average non-Metroidvania player would go, yeah, I'm done. Because she is forced if you if you're just following what the game wants you to do. So the vanilla, I'd say the vanilla's a lot more on rails than say like Super Metroid or even Symphony of the Night because of how the movement works in the game.
Yeah, this game absolutely does railroad you. There are points in this game where if you're playing casually, where it's just like running into a brick wall repeatedly. That first Zangetsu fight for casual players is just a nightmare. Bloodless is terrible.
Yes.
There are some.
Z1 he parries you. He has an uppercut.
You do almost no damage to him.
Yeah. You don't have poison. Yeah.
There's a streamer by the name of the Lore Runner. He ran through this game, and he had to use a cheat to get through Zangetsu 1. I had to spoil him on the location of a specific item that an item Tony has, that Aegis plate. It's in a really weird spot. The game just doesn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
It just expects you to mess around.
It expects you to map completion. It really expects you to like have played Soten or one of the GBA DS Vanias before, be familiar with that little map that's in the top right corner there, and just go, oh, there's a blank space with like the white lines don't, I should go look over there. That's really what it expects you to already know.
Yeah, and just a casual player that's never run into any of this before, and I've talked with other people on Twitch that are streaming this game playing through casually, and when they get mad and ask me to spoil it, they go, "Who would ever think of that?"
And when we go, well, you're not wrong.
Like, nope, you're
It's
right on that.
It's what they call legacy knowledge. If you're familiar with the series, you know, but if you're not, how would you know? Oh, hello. Fiesta.
Summon Bat and Carbos. So she fills a very similar role to the Symphony of the Night Fairy. She has some weak attacks. She also has, you can also pick up some potions that she can use on you, but she's kind of, let's say, not fast on the uptake on when she should use the potions. I think I've gotten her to try to use a potion one time for me, and it was after I had already full healed. So there is a little Easter egg with her there, in one of the rooms in the center of the garden, the center garden of the castle. There's a piano, and if you have her out, you sit down and you play it, she will sing along to the song.
Yeah,
it's actually an achievement too. So
an enemy that drops her, which is her. That's like kind of like a room that they're only that she's in. So they kind of like tell you where it is, sort of.
it hints. You know, there's a bench right by the piano, so if you say sit down at the piano and wait a second, Miriam will just start playing the piano. But Carbos is the only one of your familiars that actually speaks. So.
Man, I don't even have anything vertical to farm this properly with.
When the room below, the lower room with the first blood grinder knight, you can get at, be a little better for farming that.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the best place to farm things is all dependent on what you have.
Yeah.
And I might be better off just going to one of the long hallways. Because then I can get bad as well if I do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I know there's one mob here that I didn't get yet, and that's this guy right here. Awesome.
Yeah, this game just wants to give us all the yellows.
Yep. All right, wild idea. Yeah, so we're looking for either of the two beams, Aqua Stream, Chisel Barrage, Faltib, or like basically any of the three. Well, maybe not Invert. Well, Invert, yeah, because then we could do Vashia for Bale, and I could melee my way through Dom.
Runeserud would work too.
Yeah, any of those things, I'll go try it again. Or glasses, you know.
Oh, a blue.
Arguably the worst one. It's either that one or healing, I think. Maybe the Wolf Claw one is slightly better. Yeah, that might be the worst.
Apples. That's one of the birds. Actually, I think that might picking up that apple might potentially open up another drink if you have the drink recipe book.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and then your MP regeneration will be 3 per second. That would give you enough potential MP to be able to beat the bosses.
Yeah, we could also just sell everything and then buy as much MP regen as possible. Which is why I'm like more open to certain shards. Like, I'd take Invert and go try again because I just buy a bunch of MP and see what happens. You know, it doesn't have to be a beam that's super mana efficient. I guess we could talk about that while we're checking some of these items. So yeah, the reason that we look for the beams isn't just the range; it's the way that purple shards work. Some purple shards, just you use them, the effect happens, you're done. Some of them have a per second cost, and the way the game works is it doesn't actually charge you the full cost if you don't hold the button down for a full second. You just have to have that much MP to start. So you can see like Inferno Breath here has 50 MP per second. If I just tap it, I don't spend 50 necessarily. It depends on how the shard works. That one I think it has a minimum out time, but the beams don't. So you can hold down the button for like 2 frames and you'll only spend 1/30th of the MP cost because 2 frames, you know, 60 frames in a second, X per second, and all that. So it's more that the weapons are so mana efficient that you don't need like infinite mana to make them really good. You know, attacking from range is great. You get hit less, but also, you know, like some of the beam weapons, or like Faltiba, for instance, is a really short range weapon, but it's arguably the best one in the game because the MP rate for how long you have to have it out to do damage is so good. Like, it does damage on frame 1, and then it's like it can redo damage on like frame 3 or something. So you can spam it and pay almost no MP and do just constant ticks of damage.
The timing on it can be a little bit funky if you.
Yeah, it's more of a rhythm thing.
As, yeah, it's more of a rhythm than anything else. If you can nail it down, there's no reason not to use it. If you're just really getting started, Void Ray is far and away a better option. And the blue chests in this area have been very worthwhile to get. There's some very high value mats.
Yeah, if we end up having to buy a bunch of yeah, if we have to buy a bunch of MP regen, the good mats will be nice because then we can sell them and buy more. Oh, cool! Useless key.
Okay. Useless key. There are some super bosses that you have to find keys for. Millionaire's Key is one of them. You end up going and fighting a slot machine on that one. And it gives you a red shard, and that red shard is not the best, so we tend to ignore it.
Yeah, you never have to deal with them in STS because, wow, there's no teleport rooms in the boat. Because, yeah, it's a red shard. The other two bosses, super bosses that drop shards, we sometimes do have to deal with because they drop purples.
Yeah, luckily, one of them is a 100% drop on the first time, so at least there's that. It's just he's kind of the easier of the two.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're about to go fight him right now because he's 100% drop and shouldn't be too bad. Should be able to dimension shift my way out of most trouble that he can cause.
Yeah, with dimension shift, you should be able to handle it. You don't want to fight him without at least dimension shift. Invert is probably one of the better options, especially if you've got something like Aqua Stream. He is a damage tank. He will just sponge your damage. But once you see him, you'll understand why we call him Byman Selmont.
Yeah. He even comes out of the same circly thingy that Doppel comes out of, and many other bosses come out of in the games that follow Soten. I mean, this guy's easy. I don't have his shard. We may as well.
This guy's normally a yellow. We'll see what we get out of him.
We've got a lot of yellows and a lot of reds. There are more yellows and reds than other things.
It is definitely so weird to see so many yellows pop.
Yeah, and the game doesn't have logic, so we can talk about that while we're standing here waiting. So, this was supposed to be a roguelike mode. They couldn't deliver that. I don't know if it was a code thing, a time thing, or whatever. So the randomizer was the compromise. And unfortunately, since it wasn't pre-planned, I'm assuming that's why they didn't hire somebody to write actual logic into the game. So when it debuted, there was just a bunch of seeds that could not be completed. I think with 1.4 they added the safety, or sometime during 1.3 they added the safety chests, which we didn't.
They had to add safety chests for Zangetsuto because there were instances where Zangetsuto kept spawning
behind itself.
Yeah, it just kept spawning behind itself.
And then there's the safety lamp that can have invert in case you don't have a movement white shard in the white lamp, which you have a 2 in 5 chance of not happening. So then if you don't find a dimension shifter, reflector ray, and so on, you can't progress the game at all.
In game, this guy's called Warhorse. We call him Byman Selmont. He's effectively dollar store Simon Belmont zombie.
Yeah. Oh, he's immune to poison too, I think. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he resists that one. I know you can bullet sunlock him. But...
Yeah, the problem is the MP cost.
Yeah, the MP cost is ridiculous. I forget how much HP he's got. It's somewhere in the 6,000 or 7,000 range.
Yeah, it's a lot. Ugh.
He hits pretty hard.
Yeah, he is an optional super boss. Luckily, you can duck most of his stuff until he hits you low, and then or jumps at you or throws an axe. You don't know which way he's going to jump to until he starts jumping, which is awesome.
Yeah, the axe hits really hard.
You do get to stun him a little bit. Can make him flinch on some of his melee attacks, but if he starts walking, he just super armors you.
Yeah, there's a flinch.
Yeah.
It
It only
usually flinch that can be flinched.
yeah. Only really can stop a melee attack, but it's better than nothing.
Crits are a large amount of really weak hits. Will do it. And that large amount of weak hits is why I'm such a fan of Tep Window. The lightning red.
Oh.
Whoop. And that right there, that's actually Rune's Root.
Yep. I have no idea where I last saved.
Okay, that's somewhat close, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we didn't lose much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't lose so much.
Didn't lose anything. Okay, let's check the dismantles again. Definitely some new stuff. Oh, a curse ring.
Curse ring.
Double curse ring. In theory.
Double curse ring is pretty beefy. The witch's hat, you'd need to call some more. Yes, but... Oh, Diablo's cap.
Yeah. Thing is, the best damage we have is our melee weapon.
Normally we want Diablo's cap because it has one of the biggest int increases.
Yeah, best thing you can find in a chest for that slot. Cool.
What's your, I was going to say, I thought you picked up an 8-bit coin, but it didn't look like you could craft anything.
Yeah, it doesn't make anything, unfortunately.
8-bit coins are one of the best pickups you can get, one of the better pickups you can get in the other preset that we run. Just, for some reason the game tends to skew towards, well, we know why it skews towards it, but because there's just a huge amount of stuff you can craft with an 8-bit ring, so it just provides the best overall options. It does. You're getting the most rolls that way. And there are some, you can run into some really weird stuff, like weird fun weapons. Like one of my favorites is actually shield weapon. You're just swinging a shield at people, but it blocks attacks too.
Yeah, completely invulnerable. Just no sells them.
Yeah, I've no sold an entire Dominique fight with shield weapon. She just could not damage me.
Yeah, you can block elbows.
Blocking elbows, blocking ice shards, blocking the beam.
Yeah, if you can take the attack speed book, and also if you have the optimizer shard, you actually might be almost completely invincible if you can spam it hard enough. Yeah. From the front, anyway.
One of the DLC weapons will actually allow you to just hold it out and block those beams. One of the paid DLC, anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess we can mention that too. There's free DLC, which I used a little bit of in the beginning. You saw me equip the Shantae items. That just gets included with any purchase. There's additional DLC you can buy that gives you some really nice gear to start with that makes the game a lot easier. We usually don't play with it in races because, you know, not everybody can afford to buy it, so it's just one of those inclusivity kind of things. Do I have Demon? Yes. Yeah, alright.
Thunder Elemental's just awful.
Yeah, without a beam or something, yeah, he's pretty bad.
Not as bad as, like, Light Elemental, but...
let's do this. This is probably faster. Hey!
Money is
Aww.
power.
Aww.
mean, when you have a lot of money, it is good.
Yeah, if I could get sinker or invert or something, I'd go south as well.
Yeah.
I guess my next option is the right side of caverns. That's the Cabria, Shovel Knight. Yes, Shovel Knight is also in this game.
Yeah, Shovel Knight is in this game. Yeah, I mean, you do have access to a good chunk of them, but how many waystones do you have?
2, I think.
Just don't want you to get trapped.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times in the community where we'll get a few people together, we'll roll a max seed, and we'll send 3 people after the max seed. Just get on voice chat, split up, and try to figure out where everything is.
Yeah, it's basically like a co-op mode. So you've probably seen it with other randomizers where they attack the same seed and they share information and just try to beat it as fast as you can as a team. But I killed her a bunch and gave up. Watch her be like Void Ray or something.
It would be handy.
I mean, any good damage is, and we're off for sure. I think I sort of have a plan now. Our item plan didn't work, so now we're just gonna go like find one good shard and go. Here comes the 90 to 100 kills curse. There's always one enemy that takes like, even though it's a 4% drop rate, it takes like 5 times the amount of mobs to kill it to get your shard to drop. Yeah. And the reason I checked the menu, of course, it's yellow.
Another yellow. Well, regenerate. As terrible as regenerate is, it sounds like it would be so good, but it's
just so slow. Yeah, and then even if you upgrade it all the way, it just still doesn't do anything. I don't know why I went around. Okay, so
train.
Yeah, basically what I'm gonna do is this section.
Oh, yeah, this guy. Oh, this room. That right there. That's one of the spaces where you can slide off and then go across.
Oh yeah, I can actually show it here. Yeah, there you go.
Just one of those effective uses of coyote time. Oh, there's a chest to check.
Can do it off of this too and go a little earlier than you normally would be able to.
HP max. That's not the worst thing in the world. Salt. And it doesn't seem like it would be important, but that halite is actually, especially in STS, that's one of the first times you can really like cook something. So we're always looking for that one. Bone toss is terrible. Unless
Yeah.
it's like 9/9.
At least with the boar armor drop, you don't have to farm because they share, some enemies share a shard drop, so, and that is one of them. Boar armor shares a drop with Burr. Rocky and Puppy share a drop.
There's a small check over there. When you're going that way, might as well grab it. Underneath the boss fight.
Do I want to dimension shift all the way up there? I guess.
No, you don't have to go up. Just go across and grab the one that's underneath.
Oh right, okay.
It's max. It could be anything. What's normally the stat up?
Yeah, that's true.
Terrible. It's a 3D room, so.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't.
At least it's a quick check.
But we could do this.
This is a really tight dimension shift. This is one of the rooms that caused them to like not have dimension shift, be able to go straight up. So you have to have your angles just dead on to be able to dimension shift all the way up the shaft.
All right. Yeah, why not? It's gonna be close.
One more time. One more time. Oh, at least there's some candles you can break in. Did you get Ciliano?
I have not, so I can farm this. I can go up. Technically, I don't think there's much of a point to go up though.
No, there really isn't because it's just.
It's gonna be some item checks. We could have a teleport room up there, but I'd probably rather just do the auto scroller boss, get that guaranteed shard drop in the chest, and see what happens, and then move on. This is actually fast. This side's faster, I think.
Yeah, the left side's usually a little quicker.
For melee, yeah, they're about the same if you have a beam or something, but. So there's enough of a break here. I wouldn't call this a flashing lights warning, but I would definitely call those out if we get into the one step off, one step on. Garbage.
Rat.
He's garbage.
At least you have a few checks in this room.
Yeah, I have a bonus one because we have dimension shift, which is fun. I already got that guy, right? Yeah. This is normally where the Valkyrie sword is.
Yeah. And it was... Wow, that was a terrible grab. Alright, well, on to the auto scroller boss.
Is it green? Yeah, it looks... I can't tell. Rip headphone users. No. One of the reasons I have the sound effects and sound in the game turned down a bit is because there's some stuff like this that's just super randomly loud. It's cool for dramatic effect, especially at the end of this fight when you fall through the floor, but...
The game's overall volume is also very high.
Yeah. So this is an auto-scroller boss. This is where, you know, like, prime time for donations would be. And all that. Announcements, things like that.
Donations, announcements.
Yeah. We've had a couple spots where we would have thrown it to that for sure already.
Oh, they didn't kiss yet.
Yeah, if you duck at the right in the right area, you don't get hit. The hitboxes in this game are like
really weird.
Yeah, they're wonky for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna kiss. That part's just great for free melee damage.
Can you poison that? No. Yeah, this is another one.
Poison. We're using Valak, we'll kill Valak.
Stop hitting yourself.
The epitome of stop hitting yourself. Alright. So, you just need to get that one more hit in when they stop to initiate the end of the fight. There we go.
Yep.
That's it. And get grabbed.
Yep, getting grabs faster, so we get grabbed. Normally you'd have to stand up there, wait for all of this stuff, and then fall.
Oh, you're not going to be able to grab that chest.
I am not. I should have thought about that before I got grabbed.
Another yellow shard. I think we've covered...
It's just one of those days.
Haven't gotten Words of Wisdom, and I think that's really the only important one you haven't gotten yet.
Cool.
Alright,
well...
yeah, if you're looking for a good shard, your options are going down and trying to check.
We have Zagan right here. This will be pretty quick. Once I looked at the list and thought about it for 30 seconds, I got a decent route in my head, but...
you could also give him some time to summon a light elemental.
I mean... We're
yellow.
good. Well, I think we're good. Yeah.
So many yellows.
Okay, so I wanted to save there specifically so that if we go down and there's nothing, I can just split right back up. Want to get this simian kill just in case we get lucky. Nope.
Fortunately, activated that side giraffe.
What in the heck was that?
Oh, that was a gargoyle.
Okay, gargoyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a light
You
switch rave.
You got some Alka-Hest on it.
Yeah. Okay, we didn't get Toad either, so unintentional weapon skill. Hey, she gave me some mana. The pet.
Oh, your curse ended.
Oh yeah.
At least there's that check. Yeah, there's that check right on the wall there. There's some food in there. You dropping Damascus. Bats.
Which we do. We do need bat. It's just we don't have a really easy way to kill bat. So. Okay, don't want to save there in case we have to split. I don't even remember what that was.
Whip it.
Correct that whip. Whip's good. Good weapon class. Have to really jump cancel to use them correctly, but that's not that hard to learn.
It's very fun when you get them right.
Yeah. That bat just does not want to get hit by my sword.
It does not want to get wrecked.
Yeah.
There he does. Okay. Well, I might be a little expensive for it. No, you got some. You got some easier regeneration. Yeah, Bulleye Blast, the directional shard that Tony's using is it's a weird one. It's a combination fire electricity, but it also has a heavy stun to it. Dominique can be just completely soft lock or hard locked by it if you have enough MP to keep the loop up. It's actually a really easy loop to do. You just kind of jump, aim, fire, land, jump, aim, fire, land.
Yeah, and the only reason you even have to jump is to cancel the animation so that you can get it out quick enough. It's not too much different than what I'm doing with the jump slashing here too. So once you learn how to jump, cancel, slash, and the reason we do that, yeah, every yellow possible. The reason we do it is because there's a lot of recovery on your just standing ground slash without backdashing. Backdashing is like the only thing you can do to cancel it. But there's zero recovery by jump slashing and then landing.
You can actually fire 3 really fast melee attacks if you hit a jump slash, land and slash, then backdance will cash into another slash with some of the faster weapons. Just triple damage.
Yeah, that's how that combat, the good combat we were talking about earlier works. Is you're just canceling a bunch of stuff and throwing melee swings in, and you end up getting a bunch of extra melee swings in. I forgot to do chair up top. I should have done chair up there.
All right. There are some item checks going down the.
Yeah.
You got the one across and then the three or four underneath. So.
Save us, Jeeble's glasses.
8-bit Nightmare is not a savior.
Okay.
HP up is appreciated, just not what we're looking for. Cookies.
Yeah, there's probably, I'd say close to 10 items slash shards that if we found any one of them, we could just go. We might even be able to go now. I have so much HP now. With the money. I could theoretically just blow it all on healing and
Healing
MP. Yeah, healing of both. Did I have Plume Parma?
Yeah, you got Plume.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Just thinking, there's a better room for Plume and Toad if you have. Oh, never mind.
We're gonna find all the yellows before it becomes time to actually go kill the bosses.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is one of the better shovel armor farm rooms.
Yeah, because you can just jump down and right back up. In my tutorial video series, I actually have a video where I run through the entire castle and kind of cover like the best locations to farm every single enemy. It's not the best video, and I did it all in one take. Maybe I'll remake it soon, but yeah, it's something you need to learn if you're gonna play Max Chaos for sure. Because half the time you spend playing it is usually this, running around trying to farm for Dimension Shift, but also for some good shards to do some damage. And then the other half is running around looking for Zangetsuto.
You really can find what you're looking for. Just some strange play.
Yeah, like having, again, like I was saying, having them available so early is usually more of a detriment, because now there's no like route, and now it's just like, okay, go anywhere you want, and it's just a raw gamble. Whereas there would have been some structure if we hadn't found both. You know, with just the sword, I go up and, you know, I look for some stuff. I finish off, you know, Jeeble or whatever. I get access to the library, and then I'm fine, even if we have to kill Bloodless to do that. But with both, you can kind of just go anywhere except for underwater. And in theory, if logic existed in the game, you technically don't need anything but what we have to beat the game. You just have to play perfectly. So there might not be a way, you know, to, even if we had logic, there might not be a way to go and get anything else. I thought there was like a decent spot to get bats somewhere up here, but I don't know, I guess not. Like, I have the strength book from the library. That's how bad.
Yeah.
Like
that's how wonky this is going.
Yeah, our drop luck's been pretty good, but what has dropped has been bad. Like, in terms of shards, anyway.
Okay, this is going to swing us back up into the entrance area of the castle.
Yeah, I'm just looking to check this item, really, and... Oh yeah, we already knew that was garbage. So, in a STS, I would have noted what that was, you know, it would have been a stat up, but in a MC where I'm, like, fully concentrated and dialed in, I would have noted what that was first time I saw it, and then I would have remembered to not come back up here. Because if it's an item bag, I gotta check it, but if it's a stat up, it's like, alright, well, forget it. Also, I could have just Dimension Shift right through the door, which is, again, I'm not used to having Dimension Shift.
Yeah. This does get you a few more kills on, to get you a few more Beaver kills and Demon kills.
Yeah. Well, we have all their shards, so... Bat is what I actually... It's the only thing down here that we don't have right now.
MP up. That's starting to become...
Yeah, it's getting to a point where money might just be enough. Because we've been gaining levels this whole time as well, and we eat every single food we can possibly eat. We might just have enough raw stats to pull it off.
Yeah, general flow of gameplay in this game, you tend to run into Dominique and Bale at about level 50 something, usually 50 to 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
In same type shuffle, sometimes we're running into a mat like
12, 13.
12, 13. The one, the seed I play all the time, I'm constantly running into them somewhere around 13.
Oh! I can't believe I got that. I can't believe I got that. that
So tight.
that is very hard to do. The practice is paying off. I haven't practiced that specifically. I just know it's possible.
Here's some more enemies to kill.
Yeah, I wanted to get over here though because this is one of the few enemies in the game, these little jellyfish guys, that has a pretty high percentage of dropping their shard.
Yeah, that's the other conveyance thing that's really weird with the game. 8-bit Fireball's not terrible; it's just expensive.
Yeah, most of the
those drop Aqua Stream initially, and the game doesn't tell you. They just expect you to go enemy farming.
Yep. Yeah, you need it.
Out of the water, and you need that shard to progress.
Wow. Just every yellow and every red.
Yeah. Poison toads, water leapers. Water leapers are so tanky for some reason.
They do a lot of damage too. They're just
Yeah.
rough.
Doesn't make any sense. All right. You're getting over by the other.
Yeah, I want to check these three chests. There's a save room / potential teleporter room right here. Or I'm sorry, in the room that we just passed. I should have checked it. I don't know why I didn't.
That was a big nothing burger.
Yeah, the next time we do this, we can have a donation sent up to change Miriam's hair.
Hair and hair color.
Yep.
Where
is it? Oh no, it's in the next room.
Yeah, it's in the next room. Turn her in the most gaudy thing in the universe.
Bid war. You know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's going to depend on what hairstyles we actually find, but.
That's high potion.
Yeah, normally it is, but
I remember right.
Could be anything.
Missing string table entry, as it were.
Yep. Oh, cool! Double blue. So much.
One of them had fried fish.
So much fun. I think we can get to Seeker. Do we have Malediction?
I don't think you have the Malediction yet.
No, we don't. We don't have either of the heads. This isn't a terrible place to do it.
It's not a terrible place to do it. It's a little easier to control.
Yeah, you don't have to stand on like the middle of a giant tall room on like a pillar, and you can actually just move around.
Or in one of the bell towers.
I should remember to cursor over everything at this point because we haven't found the blanks. There are 2 blanks. You don't want to spend time farming something that doesn't drop a shard at all. Good news is I think as soon as you hit a blank and kill one, it will pop up as blank in the demon book there. I think.
Another yellow.
Would it be anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, that's vanilla even.
Is this the what's a good sports reference for this? The Commanders? They're red and yellow, right? Or golden.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get back.
Eh.
So we got Archdemon. Yeah, there's a spot with Seeker right here where you can get him. Oh, of course.
Yeah, maybe that resist petrification is a good thing.
Yeah,
oh,
maybe.
jeez.
Alright, let's just reset it. If you get the perfect, like... Alright, you just do it the slower way where you just jump over him. You jump over him, he has to turn. And he'll never attack, so...
Just a smidge safer.
Yeah, it's a little slower, but... swords usually don't have... If I had, like, a whip, I could do it. From the other side. Oh! Let's also check him. Where is he? Okay. Water Leaper has something. Okay. Oh, Tri-Wheel doesn't have anything.
Not an enemy we really go after all that often anyway. equipment. Not what you're looking for. That crit bailed you out.
Yeah. And farming all this stuff is like way easier. Say we didn't find Dimension Shift and we were looking for it. If we had like any kind of good offense, we had any decent shard with decent MP rate or whatever, we'd be using that instead of a melee weapon. A lot of this would be going a lot faster. So this is why we vet seeds, and a seed like this would never actually end up at the marathon.
This would be the perfect time for donations.
Yeah. Unless Ghost had like Accelerator or High Jump or something, and we just, you know, we noped out of it by accident. Which is possible.
Red. Wow.
Well, my man doesn't even die to one blast, huh? Alright.
You guys tend to be pretty tanky. You had just enough MP to do that.
Yeah, I figured I'd blow it now. Check this chest. Get some of these MP roses out of the torches, and then we'll,
Yep, might as well check the,
Yeah, this one might always be a teleport as well. I don't remember.
already got that one.
This is one we don't have. Probably the only way to farm this one without swimming.
Yeah, underwater horse. None of us know.
I mean, Iga comes up
Why
with
is there an
some
underwater horse?
great enemies.
He really does.
You play these Castlevania games, you know, there's some that you see in every single one, and then there's other enemies that you're just like, who came up with this? It's part of the charm of the...
What were they on, and where can I get some of it?
Yeah.
What performance enhancers did they use to come up with this? Alright, oh, teleporter.
Yep. I think that one might be locked. I don't know for sure.
Given the positioning, I would hope it would be locked.
Yeah, just because you can soft lock yourself without vertical movement by coming down there, so that being locked to a teleporter gets you out. I think it's the same reason that the one that's down south is also locked to a teleporter because of the same reason. If you even fall down into the pit to get to it without vertical movement, which you can get there with just like Sinker or Aqua Stream or whatever, you can't get out. So if it was a save room, you'd be stuck. Alright, so one more check on the dismantle list. I have to go slow so I can make sure I'm only stopping at the new stuff. I saw glasses and almost marked out there. Dawnblade makes something. I can't remember what it was. Great.
Yeah, I still feel like getting that witch's head might be your best bet.
Yeah, it's probably the way to go.
So many Valkyrie swords.
Yeah. Where was it? That's the question.
Yeah.
Dismantle. Help if I'm in the right menu.
Bingo, there it is.
10.
So you need 3 more alcohols. Oh, you get an over the rainbow out of that too. That's
Yeah, that's the best scarf.
definitely worth doing. Really nothing decent in shop.
Yeah, don't even have the right seeds to make rice balls.
Fruit juice.
Yeah, I think I already bought one of all of these, but that's fine. Healing, and then we'll spend the rest on this.
All right.
Yeah, no movement but dimension shift is not something I would have called at the beginning.
Yeah, gargoyles were the easiest source of alcohol.
Yeah, and they're right by a teleporter, so pretty easy decision there. And then we can make a save, and then sell everything else for money, and buy as much MP regen as we can afford, and try it, give it a shot.
So people may have noticed firearm expertise. There are guns in this game.
Yeah, if only they were good.
They are no good until you get the best gun and the best ammo. Then they're the best weapon in the game, far and away.
Yeah, and ammo, unfortunately, is not unlimited either, so...
Yeah, you have to... Like, there's a very specific setup, something called recycle hat, where you just don't burn
Yep.
ammunition, and you get that that highest level ammunition. You're literally just shooting through everybody. I think 2 more alcohols is what you need.
Yep.
Yeah, you got enough firearm expertise that if you were using guns, you'd probably be doing some pretty good damage with them. But
Yeah, if I could find diamond or curse rounds or whatever.
yeah, poison rounds are useful too.
Yeah. And the hat, and one of the 2 or 3 best guns, I probably would switch just for the safety of being able to shoot at range, and because considering the final boss is where we're going. The main issue, especially with Bale, is just not having any way to dodge the cat. So, like, if we had invert, we'd be fine. So these are a 10% drop, so getting pretty unlucky here, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. At least you're killing them in one swing.
Yeah, there's some seeds that are so bad that can't even do that. All right.
It should be playing alcohols now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna burn the waystone to get out of here, just in case.
You also picked up some ethers.
Yep, which is useful. I did not have dimension shift on.
It is worth noting that one thing that just never shuffles are food recipes. They just do not change. They're always the same.
Yep.
Up smoothies. Strawberry all out and smoothies. Smoothies the better one. So
Yeah, so we can buy those now. Okay, what was it?
Sanajun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting the real drip, the big floppy witch hat.
All right, let's save here before we do anything. So we might want all of our items and money back depending on what happens. I'll keep that. We could strategically use a unicorn ring. Yeah, I could just wear it actually.
Yeah, with the HP problems, I wouldn't go after Sullen.
Yeah.
Some of those lower value stuff just isn't worth spending the time on selling.
Ugh. Sure.
If you don't have a nectar, you're going to want to grab one because it's a big MP regeneration boost.
Yep. Actually,
I think
I'm gonna take two, one for each phase. Considering we ended up with 100 grand there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we should have enough.
We're safe, I think.
Enough
Yeah.
to be a fatty and plow through everything here.
Probably could have went a little bit earlier, just not expecting it to be that bad. You know, in an evented seed that we run in the marathon, it's not going to be this bad. So we would not want to torture anybody, go way over estimate, all that stuff. I'm going to the event to also enjoy myself and watch other runs. So I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. So
what estimate are you going for on this?
We have, I believe we have 140, which is worst case scenario for a STS. And then we were dual listed for 140 for both, but I spoke to the organizers a little bit about what that actually would mean. And so once we switched over to upgrade the MC, I think that they raised it to 2 hours.
Okay, so.
But the thing is we're not going to take a seed that's not like.
No, we're not. We're not going to take a hell seed.
Yeah, we're not going to take a seed that's not properly, and we're going to have contingencies as well. So like, if for whatever reason like nobody donates, which I just from the amount of people I've talked to in real life that I know and told them like, hey, I'm doing this, and then they've been like, oh, sweet, that's awesome, I'm going to check it out. $80 I think is pretty easy. I'm not going to donate it towards my own incentive. I'll donate towards other stuff for sure while I'm there. Just don't want to do that. But I'm pretty confident that, we'll be playing max. So if I take I take like 2 or 3 vetted maxes, and for some odd reason, the first one's done in an hour, I'd like to have like a couple jets, so I can fill my time at least.
So real quick. This area, instead of sliding off, just dimension shift down.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's the thing too. A lot of times dimension shift is the last thing you find, and it's like, okay, this is now go
It's
mode.
the last thing you find, so you're not really thinking about it.
Should I kill this?
No, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, I mean,
well, no, you have plate.
And it's I only have 70 gold, and he drops a shard, so
yeah, worth a check.
Why not? I mean, I can't invert, so the plate doesn't really even matter.
Yeah, and you got healing.
You can poison this guy, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Really? The chances of all three stacks on both sides being maximum height is like I don't know if I've seen that more than like 3 times before.
Yeah, usually he just like thumb flings stuff at
you. Yeah, all the bosses have X amount of attacks, and then they have a random pattern. Like the only one we could explain a little bit more about that Kraftwerk fight at the beginning. The reason because we never actually went back to that. The reason he runs back and forth like an idiot is because on high FPS, for whatever reason, he's a boss that his attack. What the heck?
Again?
I mean, that never happens, but okay, sure. Anyway, Kraftwerk, for some reason, his attack pattern is tied to the FPS of the game. Don't know why. If you play on Unlimited and you stand in that spot and you hit him fast enough, he just doesn't have a chance for his script to start and for him to start rolling random you know, numbers and then doing attacks based
He
off of
just
it.
called you a poor.
Yeah. He has different dialogue on tiers based on how much money you have because he steals all your money and regens HP off of it. Of course, it's red.
Boy, that would have been a nice. That would have been a nice one to get significantly earlier, though. Welcome Company is a very good early game set.
Yeah, it's pretty good early for sure. And you do get a little bit of invulnerability with some of these shards, like invert and dimension shift. You get a little bit of invulnerability. You can actually extend it by upgrading them. You can use it to get through and around and past things.
I do it all the time.
Yep. Right there.
That drop is just so terrible.
Yeah, if you have
if you have double
jump,
it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's fine.
You don't. Oh.
Alright. Yeah, really unlucky to not have a teleporter down here and have to go through all of that again for multiple attempts on... But, you know, it is what it is. I could have checked the save room all the way down at the bottom, I think. That's probably actually a mistake. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that since we're just casually practicing here. This is how you learn. You make mistakes. So what I should have done when we were here the first time is I should have went all the way over here. Yeah, check that stuff. For green chests. And I should have went all the way over here to check to see if the save room was a teleporter.
And those guys are very annoying farmers.
See?
And it is.
That's what happens.
you could teleport away to a...
So that would have saved us, what, like 4 or 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Probably.
Tracer's just, like, that super annoying
Okay.
one. That's the only room in the game where he spawns.
Yeah, the upgraded Seeker. Oops. And if I get my ass kicked here, then we're okay, because we can just teleport back now that we have the teleport room. But I think we're fine now. I mean, we have so much health, so much food and all that.
The save right outside of it.
I could probably tank sitting in the lava on Cat for two cycles at least.
Honestly, I think the only thing that's actually a threat for you right now is getting pinball.
Oh yeah, comboed by her digital cyber demons. We'll just keep the unicorn ring on too, so that any healing we use is super boosted. I'll probably just melee her down and then oh cool. We'll just blow all the MP on Vashia's for Bale. Oh no, I have 99. Don't I have 99 smoothies?
You've got a lot. And there's the stuns.
Yeah. She just has to cooperate a little bit. There you go.
Elbow out of nowhere. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could stop the ghost with Bull Light Blast.
Yeah, if you interrupt her animation, she just stops casting whatever it was.
I would definitely pop a well, you're going to be mostly restored on MP at this point.
Yeah.
By the time you get going again. Popping the Nectar wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that actually adds another 2.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to use that on forgot to use it on Dom when I walked in. That's why I bought 2, but
yeah, now you're generating full second, even if you run into a situation where you have to wait for a spin cycle, you're gonna have full MP again.
yeah, we're gonna use Dimension Shift here to make sure we evade everything and alright.
Yeah, Vashi is just a very good red.
Yeah, one of the best, if not the best. It's a toss-up between it and Hellhound, depending on like what you have going on.
It's in one of the high tiers.
Yeah, it's kind of like 1-1A, you know. Similar with the purples, like Void Ray or Thaltib is definitely where it's at.
Flamethrower is also a good purple. Mash the
Yep. Yeah, there's like an S plus tier, an S tier, and an S minus tier for sure. Flamethrower is probably S minus, I think. You have S plus is Void Ray and Fouled Taib, and then your regular S is probably Aqua Stream, Chisel Barrage, maybe even Tizzer Zion, or Tizzer Zion's like an S minus, and
that's something we'll have to bring up is you barely dodged that beam, and that's something we'll have to bring up if we run into Chisel Barrage or Aqua Stream.
Yeah, Crouch Tech,
crouch canceling,
which we just didn't have a chance.
You are generating so much MP.
Yeah, and we have to wait for Dom to pick a head. The head she picks will have less HP than the other heads. And that's the one we want to do all of our damage to.
Now, note that we can kill another head.
Yeah, we can. It just doesn't really help us end the fight.
Yeah, it has a slight effect. If you take out, say, if she's not on Landlord there, that's the end of the run. If she's not on Landlord there, and you manage to take it out, it won't do its attack.
Yeah, which is cool. So like when they spin around in a circle and they, she's on the Landlord head and the cat's throwing rings at you. If you kill the cat head while she's not on it, the cat won't do the rings attack. But you really just want to try to win as fast as possible. And
there's just so much going on in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot, but the good thing about Max is it gives us a lot of time to explain a lot of it. So there you go. We didn't get to see a third of the castle in Max, which is usually not common, but
it's really weird
when you get stuff that early and the whole thing's open, but yet then you don't find anything that opens anything else. Like we could have went to train, like that was my next thought. But it's so slow, and I mean, no guarantee of anything good being there. Also, that boss being a heavy soft lock point, yeah. I just didn't think it was worth it. So, who knows? Who knows what was where? I'll play around with that seed later and figure out where some other stuff was just for fun, but
at least it gave us some okay options right off the bat.
Yeah, so if what I remember on the schedule now is correct, like that's not that far over, but we definitely would never want to take something that random into a marathon. The game's been run before, and the game's been run before in Zangetsu mode by Bobby, I know for sure, a couple times. But I don't believe it's ever been run as a randomizer in a marathon. Maybe a smaller niche marathon.
I haven't seen it.
But I've never seen it. I came to the game a little later. I want to say I came to the game in like 2021 or 22 or something like that. A little later. And then I didn't even...
And standard Miriam.
Yeah. So our...
Which runs at GDQ.
Our best player, the world record holder, also plays randomizer. And he's from France, right? Happerpar? He's from France? Yeah. So, like, he's incredible. He also plays randomizer as well. And, him doing a solo, like a regular vanilla Miriam run would be a great thing to watch. And it's been in stuff. I just don't think there's ever been a randomizer run. So I think this is the first one.
I think this is the first randomizer run.
And then, we're going to have a week after this run, we're gonna have Axel, one of our at least top 4, if not top 3, maybe even top 2. You know, it all depends on how a randomizer like races would shake out, right? Anybody in the top 4 can win against anyone else in any seed. So, yeah, we're gonna have Axel running this again, and so you get 2 of these. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for practicing with me, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's what we
been
need.
good. I've wanted to do it more.
Yeah.
I've had some health stuff going on. A lot of it's straightened
Yeah.
out now. I've grown up a bit and controlled the controllables, and I feel a lot better. So
That's good. Yeah, if we
you know.
want to try to pop off another one this week, later in the week, I should be able to swing it. So
Yeah, I mean, I really think playing too much was a mistake I made in the first week when I committed to practicing so much. I think
Yeah.
I really agitated, like, all the holding the controller. It's a lot different than playing a mouse and a keyboard. You know, my grip's already too tight naturally. It's like something I had to concentrate on not doing. I had to concentrate on not like crossing my legs and like iron gripping my feet together. I don't know why my tendencies are like that, but it's just like loosening the grip on the controller, that kind of thing. I think a lot of that tension really messed up my, you know, whatever was going on. So, but I'm feeling better now, which is good. So it means I can get more practice in. And yeah, I definitely I don't have anything to do this weekend. Normally on Fridays I go play cards, but there's a big pre-release this weekend that I'm not participating in.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so I play Magic.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I play Magic. Final Fantasy's coming out the weekend of the marathon proper, and the pre-release is the weekend before.
I've seen some of it. Oh god,
It's good. The problem is it's like 30% markup in price, and
yeah, it's just so expensive. It's just like maybe I can sign up for a pre-release and do it, but it just
yeah, I'm just gonna buy singles from my local game store to support my small local business instead of supporting the giant conglomerate that keeps milking the game to pay for all their other failed arms of the business. So that's all I'll say about it. But normally I go and play with friends on Friday nights. That's like my night off. But they're not doing any of that Commander stuff because the pre-release is going to be so big that they're going to need every table for that. So, so I'm free Friday, and I think I have a friend's. I don't want to say because it's a surprise. I have something to do on Saturday. I don't know how she would ever see this, but but then other than that, I'm free.
my
And
Saturday could potentially just be hell because we got a bunch of games coming in for the so.
yeah, so I'm free Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday,
it's Psycho.
Sunday. Yeah, so I can do Friday, Sunday. I can do. You know, I'd probably take tomorrow off, and then I'm
I
open.
would definitely take at least tomorrow off.
Yeah, especially after a long max. I think it's good to, especially when you get older, your tendons and shit like they get tight. And
I mean, doing 2 STSs is rough.
yeah, and I think that's what really when I did 2 maxes in one day and they were both long, I felt like shit. And then I had McDonald's for breakfast the next morning. That's just like a absolute, you know.
Yeah,
And it's like if you go through like a long spell of like I was out of work a lot last year and you know I wasn't taking care of myself. I couldn't afford to really. Then you start taking care of yourself. Like start eating better. I bought the compression socks for sleeping. You know, felt better wearing those. I bought multivitamins because I'm like maybe I'm deficient in something. Maybe that's what's happening. Like do I get all the stuff I'm supposed to get every day? No. And it's like I'm getting older. You know, my dad's like 70. He's 73. Sorry, math. He's 73.
Hey, it's the.
He looks like he's 60. He looks like he's 60. And he's been taking vitamins and stuff his whole life. So I'm not saying that like obviously there's a lot of them out to get there, but if you go to the health food store or whatever, you get, you know, it's not a substitute for exercise, real medicine, or, you know, eating correctly, but it definitely helps supplement, you know, the stuff you're not getting. Like, especially if you don't like a certain kind of food and like that's what has vitamin A or your whatever you need. You know, so I already feel better taking this stuff, and yeah, I think we're good to practice a bit more. And yeah, I'm staying for the whole thing. So I'm going in Thursday. I'll catch the pre-show / like the beginning Thursday night, and then I'm going to be there for the whole event. So you'll see me in the crowd if there's a camera on us. Again, I don't know. This is the first time they've done it live, so I don't know what the room is like. I don't know.
Yeah, they could have a tiny room.
Yeah, it's in a big hotel. It's not going to be in the biggest convention hall they have, I'm sure, but we're going to have a substantially. I feel like it's going to be like 80 AGDQ, like 2012 vibes, like 2011 vibes. Like you'll have a room with like 30 to 40. Yeah, you'll have like a 30 to 40 seat crowd, probably a couch, and then like and then I think they have another room where they'll have practice setups and everything. So it's not small, but it's small compared to what we're now used to because of how much bigger the hobby is than it was a decade ago, right? So, but yeah, no, I was thinking, oh yeah, I could drive in Thursday, run Friday, and then drive home and save myself with this and that, and it just like I'm 40 now, so it's just like I'm not. What am I doing? Let me just take the time off.
Yeah.
My Monday is my worst day of my work week. It's my longest drive. Why don't I just take that day off and drive home that day? Then I can stay for the finale. I can enjoy myself. I can see the tournament finals and everything for Final Fantasy 1, and I can actually have a good time and I can afford it now, so why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
cool. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm gonna bail out. I gotta take care of a few things now. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Easy, for coming by, and we'll do a few more of these if you're available.
Yeah.
Before
I'll try to get one or two more of these in before.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it went well. The only thing we got to remember probably is to pause for donations more often. But we had so much shit happen early that we had to like kind of. But I mean, the run's so long that we're gonna have plenty of time for that, and it is a smaller marathon, so we're not gonna need as many breaks to read off stuff. There's probably gonna be times when we throw it over. They'll do like an announcement about like the next game or goal, and then it'll probably come right back to us. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks, man.
Hop off and go take care of some stuff. So I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, thanks everybody who's watching the VOD back. If you watched all the way to the end, appreciate it. I hope you come and tune into the marathon. The link to it is in the description of the YouTube video, and it's either in the title or description of the VOD on Twitch, depending on if you're watching the highlight or the replay. The replay is auto delete, so I always highlight these, and then you highlight so they stay around, and then you can export them to other platforms and all that. So yeah, this is what it's going to be like. There's going to be breaks in there for donos. We're going to have a better seed, and it's not going to take 2 hours more than likely. Like the vetted max classes I have, I'm probably looking at like a 120 to a 145 finish on any of the 3 that I have that are community vetted. I have some 1 hour faster ones, or 120s. That I've encountered via practice, but I don't remember anything about. I think the first one I got Accelerator as the guaranteed shard on Cannonmort. I think that's the only thing I remember about any of the ones I've played. Because I've played so much, and my short-term memory is not that great. My long-term memory is amazing. My short-term memory is poop. So, yeah, this is what it's going to be like. So here you go. This is a dry run, if you will. We're going to probably do a couple more of these in the next 8 days. Yeah, I leave the day before the run. So I think what I'll do is, at the top, of the practice sessions from here on, I will probably mention the link in the description / whatever, and then check that for the schedule, because it's a randomizer marathon. So I might have my run happen like 30 minutes to an hour early. Probably not. I'm sure they'll probably fill that time with other stuff, but it could be we could run behind. We could run way behind on schedule. It could be later Friday night. But it's scheduled for around 8 o'clock on Friday night, the 13th. So, safe bet, tune in somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour before that. That's Eastern North America time. So, GMT -4 right now, I believe. Because we're in, yeah. So, GMT -4, 8 o'clock-ish. And then yeah, we get the Friday night like primetime slot. So I couldn't have asked for a better time slot. I expected to be like midday Sunday, maybe midday Saturday, like early morning Saturday, something like that. But I mean, yeah, we really got a great slot. I like the charity that they picked, and happy to be a part of the event. So um, yeah, I think I've said it before in previous videos. Sometimes, even if you're not the best player of a game, if you're willing to travel to the event and represent, you can get into one of these events. I'm definitely not the best player. I might not even be in the top 10 of the best players of the game for randomizer, but I was available. I can chat, uh, my way through everything. I can explain stuff, and here I am, right? So, and I felt like it was an obligation, it was a responsibility to submit because I can do it. I have the means. I love the game. I want to promote the game, so I love the community that's built around it. I'm the only person I think in the community that was within a reasonable driving distance to the event, and so I submitted, and here we are. So yeah, thanks for everybody that made this happen. Whole community and everyone that got me playing rando. We'll do a bunch of thank yous at the end. It's probably going to be. I'll probably write down a list or something. It's going to be mostly just the Bloodstained community and the event for having us and all that. And yeah, hopefully it goes really well. I really wasn't nervous at all playing this with commentary. It felt natural. Having the seed vetted, knowing that it's going to be completed and all that ahead of time is really nice. And I think if Yeezy and I can do 2 or maybe even 3 more of these, I'm definitely going to let him talk more and focus on playing. And I mean, I got some crazy first try stuff, like the floating dimension shift thing. I think I've done that like twice before. It just doesn't come up. But yeah, so and then hopefully that'll let me dial in a little bit more on playing and focusing on where to go, what to do in what order. And I might not even have to think all that much. It all depends on the seed that I play. Sometimes the seeds are very linear, or you're forced to go here and do and farm all these guys before you get the movement ability that unlocks the next section, and then now the next section's open and blah blah blah. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great weekend. Don't just watch my run. Please tune in to the whole marathon. Their community is FFR is really cool. I'm technically a part of it now because I'm playing at their event, and I'll be there like I said the whole time. I'm staying all 4 nights, and I'll be there watching runs. If there's a side room where we can play Magic, I'm taking some Magic cards. I'll be practicing in the practice rooms, maybe even learning some stuff on there. If it's possible. So I'm just excited to go and I have family that was from that area that nobody lives there anymore, so I haven't been there in a long time. So I'm kind of looking to getting reacquainted with the area and checking out the cool food and all the other options. There is a cool festival that's happening. And the problem is it's like a music kind of thing that's right out in front of the hotel. Problem is it's happening right during my run, so I will not be able to partake in that. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad to be feeling better, and to have the energy and not have the pain and stuff that I was having over the last couple weeks. And I'm not taking it for granted. But at the same time, I think that I was just a bunch of things stacked up on top of each other that I let slip. And now that everything's sorted out, looking good. So yeah, thanks for tuning into this video, guys. In the session, if you caught it live, appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, there's a link to my stream down below if you want to catch the live stuff. And we'll see you in the next couple of days. We're going to do another run and hopefully some more commentary practice. And, just keep honing the skills until we get to the marathon. Take care, everybody. Take care of yourself. Very important. All right. See you guys later.